Mbona kilikuwa kinalia?
Hey, bana, sawa wewe usikii mimi ni kichonje. Wewe unasemaje kuna?
But I know that the social media
Nataka mimi nipende sana.
God bless them.
God bless Sweden.
Power off.
Liverpool loses the league. Gerrard.
Bluetooth modem. The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Sijasikiza ile ngoma yangu live.
But you ujue hizo stuff. Ndio wengine akinivipi ni wewe kijana. Nikengoma ya Tanasha na Kalika.
Nani mgani? Mzanto live.
Umesikia DJ?
Fashion over. Fashion over. Bado
sasa yana ndani kila siku.
Wanataka umepata
Sasa
baie nyama.
fashionista. Ikiwa naye game over. Game over. Oh, I love the way you break it them balls. Oh, baby, break it them balls. Oh, I love the way you
this is Chemutai, ni mwadaro.
my baby.
Yeah, my good Thomasy.
Break it them balls. Oh, baby, break it them balls. Oh, I love the way you break it them wine. My baby, you fine. You ain't denge wando kita ukibanua mina bandika oh nana kama ndo mosmos na maringo kaki smile kana dimples still important girl a different nobody can test only Batman and bingo see my baby's a fashionista I love the way she bring you over my baby's a fashionista. Game over. Game over. Oh, I love the way you break it them balls. Oh, baby, break it them balls. Break it them wine. My baby, you fine. Break it them balls. Oh, baby, break it them balls. Oh, I love the way you break it them wine. My baby, you fine. Oh, I love the way you break it them balls. Oh, baby, break it them balls. My baby, you fine. I love the way you break it them balls. Oh, baby, break it them balls. Oh, I love the way you break it them wine. My baby, you fine. Look at the way I love my guitar. You and your thing, you and your thing. Ukibanua kimabandika. Oh, nana. Fashionista. Fashionista.
Lakini nimekataa kufanya hivi.
Nataka nikuwekee telegraph.
Kazi system imekataa. Pretty good part.
Nipe earphones. Aje. Itulia.
Niko nafasi ya hii yote bwana. Kama ni charge. Kama ni bila kuna steam. Hakuna steam. Sasa ni kwa si. Ani kwa kuna kunoma. Ndio iko fast. Pita. Nilala na simu kwa kifua. Sibonga ringi.
Wacha ujinga.
Anafanya hao tangu lini mtu anasema
Una washaulini soka wewe.
si manunda
Naandika kwa link next.
wa huo kisa na yeye.
What I'm feeling sleep, man. Sleeping is seems
Hiyo ndio wapi?
baya.
Wacha pale.
Inatoka hapa ya kwanza ni shajua ni gani.
Chelsea bro tu Porto.
Wote mnatoka kwanza ni Real Madrid.
Umeandarate hiyo timu bana iko.
Real Madrid inatoka hapo kwanza.
Nikafika.
Sisi tunatoka hapa ya kwanza ni Man City.
Bana Man City.
City hawajafika sehemu si ndio? Walaya hawawezi enda mahali. Walaya ni City tu nzatangulia hapo.
Watu wana
hata Real ndio inaweza kuwa finali. Ile season ile total ilifika final hata kuna mtu.
Chelsea inaweza kuwa finali mshangae. Arsenal inaweza kufika finali ya Europa lakini Man U inatoka leo.
Ile inaweza chomolewa leo. Hiyo ni
Inatolewa leo. Sasa inaweza inapigwa leo.
Ndio hivi kwa hizi vitu alafu inatoka kwa mpya.
Cheza.
It's to kiss, baby.
Hey!
Nice.
Jamaa kabaki na ugoli peke yake.
Guy. Na hapo siko.
Na kauza.
Alisikia tu kujiua. Kimeanguka.
Sole kuna
Yela.
Ni mimi na hao. Watu wanaenda field na stress naona.
Ndio anafanya nini?
Akina crazy. Sasa imebidi amembeba.
Watu watatu wakashika kufunga. Wakashagana. Wanawake. Akapiga pale kapiga chuma, huyu aka celebrate. Ibrahimovic.
Unakuwa na mbaya.
Ndio kinene kilivyo kwa wao.
Nayo.
Ona sasa vitu my school wana post.
Hiyo ndio matokeo ameview status yangu.
Kuna vitu vingi wewe inako na kuona.
Hizi vitu hufanyika wapi ndio zifanyikane?
Parents meet kindly.
Lakini ubibi wa kape na come to dangerous. Ubibi wa kind wa kuaminika.
Bana.
Collins.
Wanakimbia wapi? Anakimbia na bwana.
Collins. Mute.
Hapana, let's read the land kwa pesa. Kama wewe ngoja pesa chuma ni gani? Mungu mwegeza hii. Ndio ngoja nige huko mawada.
Sasa pia inauma. Mungu akipeleka utafanya. Mimi binafsi
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, George.
Yes, Joseph. How are you?
I'm good. Hope you are
Sorry,
too.
sorry, I caught up. I was caught up in a small jam, but I've managed to log in.
Okay.
Yes.
You
How far
you
are
can
you?
go ahead. Pardon?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
It's not shared yet.
Okay, you can share from your end. Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see we have 81 already in the house.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's see how far we can go today to close up this chapter.
Sure. Over to you
Do,
now.
do we have any breakout session, or is it for the next lesson?
Let's do it for the next lesson so that we will have organized ourselves better.
And of course, for consistency.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
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 Thanks, Felix. Thanks,
Hello.
Felix, Daniel, Lucy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
How was your day, guys?
Hello. Our
Hello.
day was good.
Okay.
Marvelous.
Somebody has said fantabulous.
Was fine.
So I think you remember what we did last time. I don't know who can help us jog our memory about what we covered last time in a minute or so. Who was in class last time? Irene.
Hi,
Mugo.
George.
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. This is Patricia, Multimedia University. Yeah. Well, I will say what we learned last week. Then somebody else can also add. That's fine.
That's good. That's great.
Oh yeah. We learned about the importance of self-awareness. Yeah.
Why did we say it's important? What does it do to an individual? When you are self-aware, what does it mean for you?
It makes you realize your worth, and it makes you more organized. In yeah.
Do you remember self-regulation? You can regulate yourself and your emotions.
Yes, that one. And we also did. We're told to go and check on this personality test.
Yes.
Yeah, which I did, and apparently I was oh my god, entertainer. Sadly, I don't know if it's good or bad, but yeah. Thank you.
By your description, you became an entertainer.
Yeah.
It means you're a fun-loving guy.
Yeah.
All right. That's you. That's you.
Thank
I
you.
don't know what Kipkemoi Elvis will say about it. His adventure.
Hello.
Yes, Kipkemoi.
For that person who just said, I'm from Multimedia.
Yes.
I just had there's an entertainer here. You cannot say you're not an entertainer yet you're in Multimedia University.
I'm telling you, how can
Oh my god.
when you join Multimedia, your personality test is an entertainer, then you are destined for greatness. I can tell you that for sure.
Amen.
So going forward, we also got the difference and there's some difference between the habits, the characters, and values. Like it's a thin line between the two, and one can just distinguish. Well, it's almost undistinguishable for somebody who is not self-aware. But when you're self-aware, it's easily distinguishable. You can easily distinguish between this is my habit, this is my character, and these are my values.
Yes.
Mm.
And actually you can shape your characters in a positive way. So if
Yes,
you know
yes,
you have high temperament and you know you can avoid it, then you
yes.
can manage your empathy so that you do not become unnecessarily too much empathetic. In the process, you lose your objectivity.
True.
So being self-aware really makes you to understand and drive yourself.
Yes.
This is what we also said, your emotional intelligence. You are a little bit more intelligent when you understand yourself, and you can use your own SWOT analysis to understand where you really are lacking and where you need to improve and where you have opportunities to take advantage of. So it's extremely important that the idea of being self-aware to an individual, especially guys of our age who are transitioning the job of the world of work, it is important that we understand how it shapes our thinking, how it positions us to exhibit characters which employers are looking for. Remember, the job market is shrinking every day. There is a new shift every time. There is a shift to ICT. So it's only the smart and those who go an extra mile actually will get a fix in the market. So our whole struggle of understanding ourselves is going to help us in that. One last comment, and then we jump to the next level of emotional intelligence. Herbert Akoru.
Yes, my name is Herbert Akoru I study at Kenyatta University. So previous lesson we learned, we tackled on self-awareness, and we captured the quote from one of the philosopher when he asked himself, what does it mean to really know yourself? And we saw that there was a need to know yourself, and which means you want to know where you came from, what you really need, and the utility of knowing yourself. That is, after realizing what you need, what others want, you are going to derive that satisfaction so that you can live fully in the long run in this life we are having right now. And so in self-awareness, we saw that it's going to shape our future in terms of acquiring, in terms of deciding on the right values, the right habits, and also in shaping our character in interaction in the corporate world and also in terms of job market. Thank you.
Thank you, Herbert. Pass our regards to the entire JKU fraternity. So, you remember we said something about resilience and confidence? There is a huge element or a huge portion of this that is going to help us boost our confidence in terms of our listening skills, our communication skills, and also to be able to stand the troubles and the challenges of this world, especially when it gets to working with difficult employers or difficult employees or colleagues at work. So it is important for us to be able to find us a striking balance that will manage our emotions to ensure that where they are too high, we can manage them and bring them to controllable levels so that we are able to project those good habits and also give our best in terms of team spirit and all that. So the work dynamics will require all these. So today we'll really move slightly deeper to go to emotional intelligence and also look at EQ, which is the another element of emotional quotient that we'll look at and see how it affects us. So let's climb down and see what we are going to discuss today. When I was coming to class, I came across this famous doctor called Daniel Goleman, who is the author of the MRP. Remember the code that we were using last time? Can take you back to it. You remember this? Do you remember the MBTI? Key areas of
Yes.
This is the guy who developed this model. He had a combination of values, habits, emotions, and needs. When you put all these together, as the guy who had discovered, then you are able to self-aware so that you can build your skills, manage your needs and emotional gratification, then project it towards your career development. Of course, having known your strengths and weaknesses. This is the model we used last time. This is the guy I'm talking about who developed that. So I'll go straight to the guy. He said, we are being judged by a new yardstick, not just how smart we are or by what kind of a training we have undergone and expertise, but also how well we handle ourselves and each other. There is a huge sense in which I'm feeling this gentleman talking about our managing our expectations or managing our emotions or self-awareness. By so doing, then we are able to handle ourselves and each other in a better way. When we talk of each other, it brings out the element of relationship building. In other words, empathy is about looking at and putting yourself into the other people's shoes so that you can feel what they feel and you can understand where they are standing from and their point of reasoning before you can respond to them. Only then you can be able to give a good response to their concerns. So, how do you become smart about your emotions? How do you smarten your emotions? When we are discussing this, I want us to note that the objective of this second lesson is basically, number one, to help us unpack or understand emotional intelligence and why it is important to personal and professional success. We'll take a few minutes to unpack that. After that, we'll go further and see how we can recognize the 5 competencies. So we hope that today you'll be able to get the 5 competencies that you need to work on to increase your level of emotional intelligence. This one, I don't want anybody to leave, because if you miss this one, then I think the bus shall have left you. I repeat, 5 competencies that you need to work on. Make sure by the time we wind up, you are able to mention all of them. And number 3, we want to listen to and employ our emotions for better decision making. In other words, we want to show some good level of care as we build trust amongst ourselves and others, so that we can be able to display the needed sensitivity and the concern of others' empathy and other people's needs and feelings. If we do that, we are likely to be better managers, we are likely to be better co-workers, and we can manage crises, and our sensitivity will help us to build our resilience to manage the shocks of work. What kind of shocks am I talking about? I'm talking about bosses who are too harsh, who are too demanding, squeezing everything from you but giving very little back to you. Some people really, really know you are doing very well, but they never appreciate you. We have this kind of employers, even colleagues. You will go into an environment where people, they just get annoyed with you. They just become envious because you are doing better than them. Your ICT skills probably are smarter than them. They may be master's holders, they may have gone very far in education with several years of experience, but your little extra mile may make a difference that they are envious about. And by that envy that is coming into the workplace, people started hating each other. They really start, mishandling you. Some people can be sexually harassed. All these things will happen. They'll come. The most important thing is when they come, how do you manage them? That is what we want to learn today. Techno F1, what are you doing? Essential competencies of Joseph, please help me. Somebody's messing up with my screen. So we are now back to the essentials or essential competencies of emotional intelligence. Remember, we said we need the 5 of them. We've already tackled one, which is self-awareness. I'm happy and I'm glad many of you were able to grasp something about self-awareness. But there is another level that we need to go into, which is self-regulation. Self-regulation is another component that allows you to manage your emotions and also moderate your challenges, your characters, your aspirations, and also even your hunger when it gets hits the wall. There's also something about self-motivation. We've already spoken about empathy and also managing effective relationships. In other words, I'm assuming everybody can see. Is there anybody? Nancy Mbugwa, can you see? All right, okay. So let us unpack these elements so that we can understand better. The first one, if we can refresh about what we said, we learned that to be self-aware, you learn to be able to tune in. So the key word to underline is the tune in to your emotions. Tune into your emotions so that you can give valid information about your responses, especially when you encounter stressful situations. If we are in a heightened state of agitation or hunger, we cannot make good decisions. So we cannot reason well. This is according to Christine Casper, who is a communications expert and also a motivational and management guru. You can note that down. This lady has written very nice books that we can read and write on as we build our experience in emotional intelligence. The second thing is self-regulation. We want to learn how to reframe. Regulate is like reframing. When you regulate your temperature in a room, for those who use air conditioners, you need to adjust according to the room temperature and according to the outside temperature and how you feel. So you can put it to the right temperature. So what it requires, then it means we have to reframe our minds, especially when we are in stressful situations, into ones that are able to respond to challenge. Our stimuli to respond to difficulties and respond to challenges, respond to sickness and respond to psychosocial challenges relies on how much we regulate ourselves.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Mr. George, kindly zoom. I cannot see the screen quite clearly as I would have liked.
George, put it on full screen mode. I'm also struggling.
It is already.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it better now? All right. So this quote that high performers are those who are able to see with some clarity what degree they are responsible for a setback and to what degree it may be circumstantial or other people, is about being able to, measure and see things from a different angle. Instead of yearning and complaining about things which are not clear to you, you ask yourself, what could be the level of inconsistency in this kind of a situation? Where might I have I missed the point? What thing did I do that I should have done to get things right? By so doing, you can easily retract and get your steps back and trace where you need to fix. The third one, which I said is very important, we've done 2. Number 3 is practicing empathy. And this I picked from this guru called Daryl Grieg. Daryl Grieg is an educationist and a co-developer with the American Express Emotional Competence Program. He's a programmer for that sense. This is what he said. If people will stop for a moment and put themselves in other people's shoes, it will help them a great deal to modify their own behavior. It will help them develop relationships with those other people who are around them. This is what Daryl Grieg learned out of his experience in emotional intelligence. I think many of us will agree with him about this very statement that sometimes it's important for us to put ourselves into other people's shoes. Even that employer who is harassing you, you really need to understand, why is he or she harassing you that much? Is it because of your physical conditions? Is it because of your, you are able differently? Is it because you have a disability? Is it because you are too beautiful? Even beauty is a challenge. Or is it because you are too smart? Is it because you are too blunt? You really need to understand that. So when you empathize, is really going down a step to understand and put yourself into other people's shoes, in that kind of a situation you are in. It's a learning point. It's something that people have practiced, and it is recommended that you can always apply it. The fourth value you need to work on, remember there's one more, is copied from the same founder of emotional intelligence books, and a psychologist who has worked in the University of Columbia for so many years. He says, and so there is a real payoff for the people who will become the leaders of tomorrow, and the people who will become the star performers are the ones who have the strength in the key emotional intelligence abilities. We've been able to mention all the intelligence abilities that you need to emotionally regulate yourself. So he says, for those who know what their strengths are and they're able to manage their key emotional intelligence abilities, they are likely to be high performers, and there's a great pay coming out of it. So let us try to answer this question. So why is emotional quotient very important at work? As we all grow up, we anticipate that at some point we really also get jobs of our own. We can be able to fit into the job market. The labor market can be able to absorb us. The challenges of the current COVID and the challenges of the shrinking space notwithstanding, we'll still hope that we'll be able to get jobs. If not get our jobs, become entrepreneurs, and we can get our daily bread. I believe that's why we are all in school, and we're equipping ourselves to be ready for that job market. So our ability to work together is influenced by our emotions. It's important to note that. Being aware of our emotions will definitely help us to think before we act. I go back to the same point I said, self-reflection. We really need to build our skills to ensure that we are able to moderate ourselves in terms of our confidence. If our confidence is low, we can raise it up. If we have issues about trust, we can work on our trust. If we have a low team spirit, then we can work on the team spirit by inculcating some of the behaviors, maybe being a good listener sometimes, also having a good level of empathy. You can be able to stimulate your team's skills, and you can be able to be a better team player than you are. So that is self-reflection, looking at yourself and looking at where you need to be so that you can work on what you don't have. In other words, EQ will help us to manage our emotions and behaviors, which of course is what we refer to as self-regulation and moderation. The other point is that it will also help us to be aware of others' emotions. And if we are aware of other people's emotions, then we are likely to better understand and connect with them as a people, as colleagues, and as co-workers. So we'll capitalize on our understanding of empathy and why it is important to be able to connect to other people's, because our emotions are going to be moderated in a manner that can help us connect. People with EQ, which is high, are likely to be more empathetic and more open to diverse perspectives, and of course will be resilient and self-motivated when it comes to interpersonal skills, and therefore they'll be a bit competent, and they're expected to be successful at work. So the idea of this lesson is really to raise your EQ to reasonable levels so that you can inculcate that emphatic spirit that you need to be able to be open, to look at perspectives, and hopefully you build your resilience to manage situations and challenges. Even as colleagues, as young youth who are growing up, There is now COVID-19, which has compounded the situation. We need guys like you to have a lot of skills to manage their EQ and of course regulate themselves, having reflected on their weaknesses and strengths to fit into the job market. So before we go very far, I want us to go back to a session to ask ourselves. Before I go very far, I want us to engage the team a little bit. And I want to find out, what do you think is happening in the current job market with the little knowledge you have? I really want to understand what kind of expectations do you have in the job market? May I call on Abel Kirwa?
The job market nowadays,
yes,
I think they more emphasize on experience than the level of education, like having masters, PhDs.
Yes.
The experience matters a lot. That's my take.
Thank you. You are spot on in terms of what is happening in the market. I appreciate that. I want to remind you what is happening in the current market today. For those who are working in the retail industry and in the manufacturing sector and all that, you are aware how many supermarkets closed last year? You know, Tuskys closed down. After Nakumatt also closed down. Woolworth was bought. And so many other, you know, how many other supermarkets closed? I hear there's one called Choppies. I don't know whether it's still alive. What does it mean? I'm calling on Stephen Marsha.
ShopRite.
Sorry?
ShopRite.
Oh, ShopRite also closed down. So what I wanted to explain is really to show you how the market is shrinking. And you can imagine how many people lost jobs, courtesy of those supermarket chains. I got to learn that Tuskys discontinued about 2,600 employees. And I remember Nakumatt also had laid off a number of employees. My point is, we are in a shrinking job market. We need to understand that even as we go there. We also need to appreciate what Kirwa said, that now people are not looking at your academic qualifications. Please let them not control your ego. Your first class honors and a master's degree will really not give you the job. What will give you the job is the soft skills. And these are the skills we are working on today to ensure that your emotional quotient is good enough to manage and also build your resilience in the job market. That is the point I was trying on. I see two hands, which I can quickly invite. Michael Buse.
Yes, my take was that.
Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Michael.
Which university?
From Multimedia University.
Oh, today Multimedia is full.
So my take was that the soft skills are first considered, even when you go for interviews. Like in the interviews, they mainly test your soft skills. So that is the main prerequisite of employment these days. And then your grades, your transcripts can follow thereafter. So you have to have both skills and both soft skills and some knowledge in the field that you want to tackle, you want to build a career on.
Excellent, excellent, Michael. You are also spot on. So I see another hand.
Yes, that's Sunday is mine. I'm Stephen Marsha, and personally I live with disability on a wheelchair. I'm from KU. I just want to say that the way I've observed is that the job market is shrinking, and therefore, if it's shrinking, then it tells us or it informs us to bulge or to make our minds, to expand them and think a little bit far, to get ways how we can survive. For example, personally, I'm doing communication and media studies, and the way I've seen with the issues of COVID, we recently witnessed this media house laying off people and all that. So, but again, on the other hand, I've seen the increase of the, because most of the time we depend on the mainstream media. But again, you see this, there have been that trend of people coming up with their freelancing and all that. So I think they tend to think beyond the box. They no longer think of the mainstream media for this specific example. So in general, we have to expand our minds and think beyond our own education, getting the soft skills, which will help us in other areas. Thank you so much.
Stephen, we appreciate you. Thank you for standing tall and ensuring that we are able to hear your voice. And of course, everyone else needs to appreciate where we are in. And I'm glad all of us are here. And the challenge I throw back to us is how much of an effort do we make to ensure that our colleagues in school can equally benefit from the resources that are available? And of course, we can reasonably accommodate each other to ensure that we learn from each other, support each other, so that all of us succeed. I have never known selfish people succeeding, and maybe one day somebody will tell me how many of them succeed. So we really hope that this course will help us to be the first people to get jobs in the job market. And we are not the kind of people who will be seen 7 years down the line carrying placards showing our academic qualifications, but looking for jobs. We hope none of us gets to that kind of level of frustration. So let us invest in this and see how far we go. So what I wanted to say is this. Felix, maybe if I give you one last chance and then we proceed.
Thank you. Traditionally,
Yes.
a business is meant to maximize profit, and business of old was to basically centered around bringing in the cash flow. But the business of today is more customer centered.
Yes.
What skills do you have, or do you possess that can attract customers to this particular company or employer? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. You've raised a very important point that I thought I'll talk about later, but now that you brought it up, I really think that is the cornerstone of today's world of work. There is customer centric. It's like know your customer is the way to go. It's not about the profit you make. It's about satisfying the customers you have and giving them a customer experience. A customer experience will need that they have more reason to come to you again. And that's where you find somebody skipping 3 shops to go to the shop at the last corner of the market because of how they are received there. Even small packaging, sometimes it's about just a smiling face that is found there. Sometimes it's about, you see somebody who asks you, how are you today? How did you, how is your day? And how do you enjoy your weekend and such like things? Those small things are what make other customers frequent your shop. Even in the world of work, that kind of behavior in a work environment, people always want to know about others, how they fared in the weekend. People want to flock around you. When they ask, who do you want to choose to join you in the team that is going to the field, you'll find most of the people being chosen, not because they are too good, but because of their team's building skills. They are more trusted and they're likely to join a team and they contribute more. That is the point we wanted to make across. So let's proceed. So how do we know, whenever we go to a workplace, how do we know that there is a low emotional quotient in any workplace? What will be the signs and symptoms to show that there is a problem in a working place? So if you walk in, what will tell you? I got this right, that the same philosopher we were talking about earlier on, this is what he said. He said, when you find people who are blaming each other, complaining about something, including nothing, about others and actions of others and what others have done, that is a sign of having a low EQ in the workplace. So when you get into that kind of environment, your job is to see how do you manage this kind of a situation so that you are not part of the people complaining and yearning about others rather than focusing and doing something about it. Seeing oneself as a victim all the times in many situations can really extinguish or reduce, diminish your self-awareness. And by you seeing yourself as a victim, your morale and your motivation will go down and your productivity will go down. And if your productivity is not visible, then you are likely to lose a job. If you see inability to hear critical feedback, if you have a problem with this kind of constructive feedback, then no matter how it is provided to you, you will have a problem. Be ready to be criticized, whether it is positive or negative. Get the concept and try to understand why somebody is criticizing you. By so doing, you are likely to connect back to them. They may realize actually they're the ones who are actually messing up with you. You may have exhibited a better employable character than they thought, but they can change their mind about it. Many a times you'll find that perspectives of other people are not welcomed, and even so if you find an organization whereby your comments are not appreciated, or even yourself you don't appreciate other people's comments, that is a recipe for an organization with a low EQ. Your inability to adapt to the change, which is what we say self-regulation. If a team is not able to self-regulate yourself, you cannot self-regulate yourself to be able to adjust to aggressive situations and take care of the criticism that is coming in, then your communication to others may be seen to be either irritating, the tone may be too high, and it may be misinterpreted to mean you are either angry about a situation or you are not very happy. So then your regulation is to basically to bring them to the required levels so that you are not irritating others and you are able to fit into the other people's because you understand their feelings and their situations.
Hello, George.
Yes, what?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I've been checking the comments from the people.
Yes.
I just wanted to tell you that some people here, like, let me go back. Like Elvis.
Yes.
Was asking if he can chip in a bit.
Yes.
So if you can allow him to just chip in.
Elvis.
Elvis, keep going.
Thank you for looping me in. It's important we move together so that none is left behind. Although I remember we spoke to him earlier on, but take a moment, Krui, to also bring on board your ideas, please.
Oh, okay. We are past that topic though, but I wanted just to chip in about the job market currently. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening, Krui. Okay,
I wanted to chip in about the job market. Some time back, I was doing this is a personal experience. I was doing some, it was something like an internship during this COVID break. So from what I saw, it's this, most of these companies these days, they are not even after experience that much.
They said I put you down. I throw you up.
Some disturbance.
Throw you up. I put you down.
Yes, Kirui, manage your situation on the ground. Kirui, have they disconnected you?
as
Sorry, we lost Kirui. I hope we.
You can proceed, George.
Let's proceed. Any other concern that I need to address before I jump to the next level? Are you seeing anything?
I can't see any. You can just continue.
It means we are safe. We can proceed. Okay. We'll talk to him once he's back. So, having learned what we have learned, we know EQ is extremely important for our personal growth, our self-awareness, our self-regulation, and for all those reasons. So, one thing that I was very happy about is that research has proven that EQ is changeable. It means your low EQ is not a condemnation because you can change it. You can move it from bad to better, or you can actually even lose from good to bad. The fact that it is changeable is a good thing and it's a good idea. So if you are desirous of improving your emotional quotient, you can easily do that because you can change benefits that are not limited to your career, but higher EQ is expected to contribute to greater general happiness as a person. You can have better mental wellness and physical health, which of course, people with good mental and physical health are likely to have better relationships. And of course, you can minimize the generation of a stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is a serious problem we have in our bodies, but every time we are in stressful moments, we do raise a lot of cortisol, and cortisol is a stress-causing hormone, and when we have it, then we have ulcers, and by developing ulcers, then we have problems managing our mental health and mental wellness. This is what science has said. So number one, then, how do we change or improve our quality EQ or our low EQ into high EQ or reasonable EQ? Number one, if you have low self-awareness, from the process we have just gone through, it is easy for you to have consciousness of your emotions and you can change the situation. You can do that by taking lessons and of course learning how to be self-aware by looking at the values. Remember the 4 things we're looking about: the values, the virtue that you live for, and of course your habits and how your habits are contributing to your behaviors and how your behavior is either accepted or not accepted in a society. So you can work around that and you can change the situation. Think about ways you can manage your emotions to avoid saying or doing things that you can regret. Do an honest self-assessment, and the word here is self-assessment. And I know many of you did your self-assessments through the test you did. Today I've learned of an entertainer. Last week I heard of another character that was mentioned through the assessment, but maybe today we'll get more time to discuss how you went through the test and what experience you came out of it. Number 2, I want this to be very important. It's improving self-regulation. Remember, we said how you can self-regulate yourself because you are self-aware. Then you can moderate how you respond to situations, and you know how to react in a manner that you are able to manage your situation and have it in control. Because if situations control you, then you are likely to make decisions that are unfavorable or that are actually not visible or that are not liked. In other words, you can really mess up with people if you really don't self-regulate yourself. In an emotionally charged situation, like when students are in a riot or you are in a strike, and you are using morph psychology, and the guys have told you we need to skin this guy out of the office. And as you walk there, walking tall and having that level of adrenaline in your body, and you want to do and mess up people, in that kind of a situation, you don't reason well because cortisol has gone so high, your emotional intelligence is at the bottom, and you may make decisions, including banning a school, including, harassing somebody sexually or other ways, or even actually, creating malicious harm and the destruction of property and other things that you really did not want to. That's why this concept of self-regulation, if there is something that you have to, as a person, and I know as everybody, as a human being, we always have these challenges. And again, depending on where you are brought up and how you have experienced your life, the troubles and the challenges you've gone through, sometimes you may have been hardened to acquire some skills, some habits that really are not useful. And maybe there are defense mechanisms, because if you are in an environment whereby you are being abused every day and there are high chances of you being attacked, you are always ready to defend yourself because you always feel insecure. Security becomes, and anytime anybody does anything touching on your security, you get really very fast and very concerned. And that's why self-regulation is very important, so that you are able to triangulate your life in a better way, accept your frustrations, your disappointments as part of your work environment. Again, to manage your stress, you are advised that you can always learn to do a bit of exercise. Science has said that when you do exercise, you are likely to reduce your level of cortisol and other stress-causing issues. You can be able to look for others to mediate in a situation. If you feel you are so much worked up, you can ask a colleague to actually talk on your behalf, and also ask a second opinion. How do you think I should manage it? Maybe a voice of reason may come back. And by having some hobbies like playing football in the evening, going out to jog, you find your mind occupied and you actually reduce your stress in your body and you can manage and regulate yourself. Number 3, motivation. We need to improve our motivation, and we do that by focusing on what we love about our jobs. For example, I don't know what you love in your job or what your dream job is. Do you want to be a doctor, a teacher? Do you want to be a pilot? Last week we had engineers, software engineers and all that. What is really your passion? What is it that you want to practice with optimism? So consciously changing your thoughts and managing your negative thoughts to positive, acting as if you are the one in the other person's shoes, always will make you establish an inspiring but yet realistic goals and steps that I believe will take you to the next level. These goals will help you recognize that your fellow workers are attracted to positive, inspiring, and energized people. So if you are not a positive and you do not inspire, then you are likely to expire. That's why I've seen some mottos saying, inspire before you expire. So if you are not inspiring, probably what are you doing? That's a question that I throw back to you. If you're not inspiring people, what are you doing? Are you undermining them? Are you molesting them? Are you belittling them? Or what are you doing? That's the question. How do you energize other people? How do you become a catalyst in what people do? How do you become a team player that people want to have around? Or are you a toxic element everybody's afraid about? Because you talk a lot about other people, you want to impress your boss by talking negative about other people, you complain about other people, but you are not ready for other people to complain about you. What is really the problem in your motivation? Why is it low and not high? Number 4, your empathic skills. Remember, that habit of putting yourself into other people's shoes before you judge them is extremely important. How do you practice active listening to ensure that you are able to hear others, even when they are irritating you, that you can manage that irritation until you get to understand where they're coming from? In other words, be slow in judging others, but look at why they are behaving in the way they are behaving. Make conscious efforts to learn about others, to see their points of view, but perspective taking. Validate or acknowledge the merit and the demerits of other people's points, and talk to them politely. Make your point known without raising your voice. So your tone of variation when it comes to empathic skills is very important. If you put it into manageable levels, people can listen to you, then they're likely to buy your ideas and they can validate or acknowledge the merit that you cannot see or they cannot see. which is now your points of view. And by so doing, you build a relationship and you are likely to understand people better and your relations with others will be better. Social skills are also important as number 5, so that you communicate effectively. It is important that you try to make sure that your line of thought is persuading and not irritating or not commanding or not being out of touch to the reality. You really need to have evidence-based kind of communication and social skills so that it is based upon sound knowledge and you have some good level of reasoning and you are doing things because you love to do them, not because you've been pushed to the wall. They say, be even-handed, meaning be level-headed and calm in terms of voice of reason, so that you are committed to finding the best outcome. It's not always about you. Some level of compromise is required from you as a new guys. And without this compromise, without this coming down to earth, talking in a language others understand, the Queen's language, complex English does not help sometimes. So we really need to improve our communication and social skills so that we are better communicators, effective communicators, and we are able to persuade people to understand our perspectives. And we can also pass our criticism in a manner that is likely to be accepted. And by so doing, we are likely to be better emotionally balanced than when we do not do that. In summary, this is what you have said. We improve our self-awareness, we self-regulate ourselves, we improve our motivation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear
I thought
you.
I lost you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, all right. So the next thing is Coleman's EQ model. We spoke about this gentleman earlier on, and this guy has looked at about 5 ways of managing our emotions. To know our emotions, you can realize there is a self-awareness that contributes to understanding our emotions. And if we are able to understand our emotions, then we are able to self-regulate ourselves. And by so doing, then we can be able to be better managers of ourselves because our emotions, we can motivate ourselves, and then we can go to the social awareness. By being social aware, we will be better communicators because we'll be understanding other people's views and emotions, and our tone of variation, our communication will be effective. Our listening skills, our emphatic skills will be able to help us have and become good social aware. This also will help us be better managers of relationships, whether they're in school, whether they're in the work environment, whether it's with other colleagues, whether they're of the opposite sex. We can also appreciate people who are also able differently, and we understand why they're the way they are. And that's what we wanted to talk about. Now, we come to the key concerns that I want us to agree. In the previous class, we agreed that each and every one of us needs to answer these questions. I want to get feedback from you, the best way you want to respond to all these questions. The questions we are asking here are testing a number of emotional quotient challenges that we may have. And by answering these questions, they are testing 1 or 2 things. For example, when somebody asks you, tell me about yourself. I don't know what you'll talk about yourself. How will you express yourself? If somebody asks you, what do you see as your greatest strengths and weaknesses? Of course, he's talking about self-reflection. It requires that you do a SWOT analysis on yourself for you to be able to identify your weaknesses, your strengths, and of course, your opportunities that you can always face and take care of as an individual. When somebody asks you to tell them about the projects you have led, this is about your leadership skills. If you've never led any project, then you will be devoid of these skills. Your problems, which is problem solving. So can we, by a show of hands, get suggestions how we can get all these answers to the questions from each and every one of you? What suggestions do we have?
Okay.
Josephine, yes, go ahead.
Yes, what I can say, I was in the last class, and in what I hear most people were suggesting was about the Google what? Google Docs, the one that is used to, when you put your answers inside, then the professors are going to.
Google questionnaire.
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking of Google questionnaire.
Yeah, Google questionnaire.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
The answers and the professors are going to get the answers.
Ian, I see your hand up. Sorry, I can't pronounce your other name. I have a challenge. My tongue is ready.
It's Ian Shihembeho. So my suggestion, what if we just compose a mail, like simple mail, a simple write-up answering all these questions, and then we send to the same mail to invite now to the group. It can be easy. I think everybody can do that.
I had not thought of it, but I think I totally agree with you because of time. I think we'll do the same even for the other class, so that we take a shorter time and all of you have a chance to sort of reflect on these questions, and we can also get a feeling on how you fare in these questions. By so doing, we'll be able to understand your levels of emotional intelligence and how you've reflected on yourself and what kind of opinions you come up with. Then we are able to sort you and help you to build your self-awareness and, of course, meet the objectives of this course. So I agree. I see Steve with his hand up. Maybe there is another point of reason. Marsha, it's your time. Is it disappeared? Okay, that's fine. So do we agree? I think that's what we'll do. I'll take time tomorrow. Do you, I'll talk to Joseph. Joseph, are you on board? Joseph. Joseph.
I'm still here.
Thank you. I think the guys have suggested a good ICT solution and a better way of managing this question. What I'll do, I'll liaise with you to put this into a questionnaire, Google questionnaire, which then we can go back to them and we'll drive them into one email, which will be a point of collection. We can use it to assess the responses that are coming out of each and every participant. And we can also see how many have participated.
Okay, no problem. I think that's a nice idea.
Also improve on the questions a little bit to bring them to their level and, of course, bring them down to class. So they can be able to be sufficiently challenged in this kind of questionnaire.
Sure.
So that takes care of that. Any other question? I see Beth.
Hello, I wanted to ask when you needed us to submit the assignment, this assignment.
Is Friday tomorrow? Can I send it on Friday by tomorrow? Then you have the whole weekend and the Monday so that you submit them by Monday midday. Is that too much to ask?
No.
Because there are only 10 questions and very straightforward.
Okay.
So
And
Monday.
what about the CV?
There?
When do you need us to submit the CV? Or
CVs,
should we have already done it?
I think Jane, who is on board today, will talk about the CVs, but I remember in the last class we agreed that the CVs ought to have gone by Friday this week.
Okay.
So Friday is the last day to submit your CV. And I remember we emphasized that I really don't struggle looking for people to shape your CV. At this point in time, it is about what you have we're looking at, because ultimately we'll work on you and we'll see what you come up with at the end of the session. So it's only a simple requirement that you have your CV, even if it's a pager.
George.
Don't struggle looking for experience, recommendations and all that. Just put it the way it is. Then we can see how it grows at the end of the session. I hope that clears all questions around the CVs and submission of resumes.
CVs must be submitted before the next class that is on Tuesday. So Monday is the latest that anybody should submit.
Yes.
Even today, it was like Friday was the deadline. But just because they got the link today, I will allow them to submit over the weekend. But I'll close that link on Monday.
Guys, the 180 of you on board, please don't miss to be in that list of people who have submitted, because then we won't have your baseline. If the link closes, we may not be able to have your CV on board. So when you graduate, we will not know how your CV was looking like. So we can't really appreciate what we have helped you.
And it is the first place where they put their student numbers. So if you miss in the master database, there's a problem.
If you are not in the master list, then you are not in the wedding.
Okay. Bye. Hello.
Jeremiah Kashaka, kindly come on board.
I'm Jeremiah Kashaka from USIU. So I just have a question about the submission of the practice questions. I don't have an issue with the CV, but will we get a link for the questions just like the CV and the same as the CV, or do we have more time for the questions?
Jeremiah, I had difficulties getting your question. I don't know who got it right.
He's asking with the questions, the assignment, the questions you've said you'll put in the Google form.
Yeah.
He's asking how much time that has, like when is the assignment due? Jeremiah, did I get that right?
Yeah, and I also asked, will we have to submit via link or
Amepotea, but I lost you on the last part.
Excuse me. But the first one is I'll set it up tomorrow, and once it's up, I and Joseph will make sure that it is sent through their link, and hopefully Jen, you will help us get an email where they can have it sent, their responses, and we hope as many of them as possible will actually attempt to have a first-hand experience about what we are being asking here.
I have a question. Hello. Hello. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Hello.
Speaking.
Okay, I have a question.
I have two of you. Jeremiah, okay, Jeremiah has dropped. Stephen, can you go first?
Okay. Okay, I have a
Yes,
hello.
I was asking, I didn't see Jen clearly. She was saying, do we include a registration number in the service CV sample?
No. When you click the link, the instructions in the link are different from what you've been filling up. So what I said is that in this particular link, it's the only place where we get to know your student number, which is your unique identifier. So it is important that everybody uploads their CV.
Okay, I think I see Stevie's hand is still up. Marsha, do you want to say something, or are you done? Okay, I think he's unconsciously raising his hand up. Quickly, Vodwar.
Okay. Hello. I have a question.
Yes.
When you say student ID number, do you mean admission number, our school admission number, or what? Hello.
Jen is coming on board.
659272. That's my student ID.
So like for mine, how can I get it?
But you have a student ID from your university.
Okay, the student ID, do you mean admission number?
What is in your student ID? If
okay, for instance, mine is HDE to 160430/2017. Should I write that one?
It is what is in your student ID. It is what if I email KU that I want to place this student with this student number, they will find you with that.
Sorry?
Is that the number that your university knows you with?
Yeah, it's that one.
Yes, that's the number I want.
Okay. So for the another question, for the assignment that you are supposed to give us, you will send the link through our Gmail.
George will send the link through the email that you signed up with.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry for that raising. Jen, I got you clearly. Thank you so much.
Okay, so.
Okay, just a concern, Jane. Hello.
Hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, from the chat, I can see somebody's asking Veronica Mwangi is asking about I tried sending my CV to the link in the email, but it gave me response. You can't respond to CV. I don't know if you can help her in this issue.
Yes, I will repeat the instructions. To upload the CV, it tells you click here and you fill in details. You cannot respond to that email. You cannot send your CV back as an attachment.
Yes.
You have to follow the link. Joseph, please mute yourself. Joseph, mute. So if you follow the link, it should work. And I know it has worked for everyone else. Unless if you're trying to use a phone, I know there are people having challenges trying to upload CV over the phone because of maybe the size and everything else, but it should work. And if for sure it doesn't work, just email us and we will try to walk you through that. But it should work. Don't send it as a reply. Click the link. The link is in the invite that you got today. If you read the entire body of the invite, this is where you're told to submit your assignment and it's a link. So clicking on that link should direct you to where to upload the resume.
Excuse?
Yes.
When I am asking this because when I use my school email, it is refusing to send, but when I use my personal email, it sends.
Then it should be a limitation by your school email, probably the size of the file.
But I have registered for this program with that email, my school email.
The school email. So what you'd have to do is send me an email with your other email so that I can add that your other email in the database. That way I know it is for the same person.
Okay.
Like I'll just put like that your school email stroke your personal email. Then I know it is the same person.
Thank you.
All right. I see Atia had an issue with my network and what's all about uploading the CV. And if possible, I will not resend the link. Read the email that you got the invite to today's class properly. The link is there. Now, this is where you start being more keen on what is sent. The email, the link to upload CV was not sent separately. You will be in the world of work where you'll be sent an email and you will need to read each and every part of an email to understand what is needed of you. So this is part of assessments, following simple instructions. And I see the question on WhatsApp. I think there was a suggestion for a Telegram group. I am not sure who was in the Tuesday class who can tell the rest about Telegram and post the link to Telegram.
I think the Telegram is there. It is on the chat box, so she should be able to go through the chat and she'll be able to find the link to that Telegram group.
Or if anyone can be kind enough to paste the Telegram link here, like the last message, that would be helpful. So I see the question on the soft copy of the notes. Yes, I know last week we were supposed to send the notes together with the recording. Then we realized week 1 and 2 notes are in the same PowerPoint. So now you receive notes for week 1 and 2, before the next class. Next week, I know we'll have a different facilitator altogether. George, maybe you can tell them about that, so that they don't start getting bored. Kila siku ni George.
Excuse, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone? Yes,
Yes.
please. Yes.
When we were getting the first time that we were getting enrolled into the program, I just joined direct. I didn't sign up, and when I tried to sign up, it didn't go through. So I didn't put my credentials, like the university registration number and whatever. So what can I do in that my credential will be in the system? Yeah, that's my question.
Yes, somebody today the host decided he will be muting and unmuting me. Sorry. So you said how you joined through did you sign up for the program originally? The gentleman who just spoke.
Yes, Dennis James, that is. And
you signed up and you normally receive emails, right?
Yes, I do receive emails.
Did you submit your resume?
No, I've never submitted.
So the only place we are asking for your student ID or your registration number or admission number, whichever identifier you use, is when you are uploading the assignment. And the main reason is because we can have a Jane Waithera at KU and USIU and at Zetech. So the only way to know Jane Waithera of USIU is if we add Jane Waithera, then 65, 92, 72.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not locked out of anything. If you submit your resume, you'll be up to date.
Okay.
All right. For some reason today, I can't even see the charts. Maybe I've been blocked. Do we have any other question?
I'm sorry for just coming. Yes, I have a question. I'm sorry for just coming in. I've been raising my hand and nobody's taking note of that.
Sorry.
My question was, my question is that I'm not in the WhatsApp group, and I'm seeing in the chat that the WhatsApp group is full. Should I just aim for the Telegram group, or there's a way that I can be helped?
So that one I don't know.
Did you get me right?
Yes, I did, but I also want to say something. So the WhatsApp, Telegram, and everything else are not formal groups. So don't even stress if you're not in those groups. But because people want to be catching up and passing information informally, I would say the Telegram group link should be shared so that everyone is in the same. And once there's Telegram, I think it's prudent to close the other WhatsApp groups. You know what I mean? So that you all just have one channel of one forum. One day I have seen you in this class, and you are in the other class.
I think, Jen, I've seen a Telegram link that has been shared to this group.
Yes, so what I want them to do now is to close on the WhatsApp groups and leave just the Telegram, yes. And also in this class, we need a class representative for the Thursday class. So the only person who will be lucky to have my number in case of anything.
Stephen Marsha.
Yes, me.
Are you up to the task?
Yes, yes, I can take it. Then, Jen, please, I've gone through the chat box, and you are saying that you are not seeing the question. So I think if you can take this one question, you reply to it. Keep beg your gun, keep teach. Sorry for Miss Nini, but he was asking like, once we submit the CVs, how long are we going to receive the feedback? I don't know if you can answer that.
So your CV, please. We just started. We have almost like 12 to 15 more weeks to go. Your CV is a living document. It is something we will, every time you learn something, especially when you start doing the curriculum, CV development and improvement and things like that, you will be picking notes and continuing amending it. If, for example, you realized from this self-awareness class that you actually didn't introduce yourself well, like I am passionate about A, B, C, and you discovered in your personality test that you're something different than you expressed in your resume, you have the freedom to keep updating it. It's a living document. What we have right now to us is a baseline, and then somewhere in the middle, we'll ask for another CV because we'll use it to see if you've made any improvements and adjustments. And then at the end, we'll see your final CV that will now be supported into curating to work. George, have I answered right?
Yes, you got it right. It's a living document, as you have said it. We are only getting your baseline. For those who are doing research, there is something we call the baseline data. We want to know where you are as we start.
As it is, without alterations, just as it is.
Hakuna sukari, vile iko tu. Then once you can now work on it, and now we compare what it was and what it will be once you finalize. Once you have gone to
when you add
shadowing,
sugar, pepper, you add all the spices.
Viriviri, kachumbari, vile jamaa nasema hiyo yote.
Excuse me, Jen. For example, if you like me, I had already attended. Are you getting me now?
Yes. Yes.
Are you getting me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay. So, for example, if you already underwent a training somewhere, then you did. You prepare your CV. Should you send a kind of that one, or you take it at from the point that you didn't know anything? I don't know if you've gotten me.
You put it, if you've already been through some sort of training and you've done it, you put it as it is currently. It is your present resume, your up-to-date resume. So it's okay to submit one that you did after that training, and then you'll also be able to see if this training adds any value that you improve in your current resume. Sawa?
Okay, Jane, if I may pose just two questions that are on the chat box. Now that you're
all
saying
right,
you
can I proceed now? Before I have one more slide so that I can finish, and then I throw it back to the question and answer session. Can I humbly ask that all of us,
George?
Joseph, yes?
Yeah, there was I think there is one final question that Jane can answer. I know it's part of what she was elaborating. For those who had sent
Joseph,
it,
you didn't come out clear.
Those who had sent their CV, do they need to rectify to their student number?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Goja, wacha nirudie kwa Kiswahili. If you don't understand Kiswahili, I'll repeat in English. But let me say it in Kiswahili. Mkituma CV, mliclick link. Hiyo link ilikuitisha vitu kadhaa. Mimi mnanisikia?
Yeah, we can get you.
Tunakusikia.
Sasa nasema hivi, mkituma CV, mliclick link, hiyo link ikawauliza maswali, na kitu ya mwisho kuulizwa uliambiwa uupload CV. Tuko pamoja? kumaanisha ulishajaza hizo details zote zenye tunauliza. Sababu you cannot move to the next step. You can't upload and submit. If you do not get a message of submission, then you did not submit. But kama ulifuata, ulijaza kila kitu, you filled your student number. I am simply saying the key questions you responded to as you uploaded your assignments had a field. One of the fields was your student number. Meaning it is not something I want in your CV. It is something that will be generated automatically from the information that you filled. I hope it's clear.
Very clear.
Yes. Yeah. You see, people are asking, na hawaja click hata hiyo link. You can easily tell, sababu mtu mwenye aliclick hiyo link anajua kabisa mlikuwa mnafaa kujaza hiyo section.
Sure, it's very simple.
Sawa. Now I think it's clear. I'm not answering that question again. Unless mtu akwame. Joseph, you can private message Masha my personal number.
Hello.
George?
Hello.
Yes.
And I still have a question of the same field.
Yes,
Hello?
please.
You
Please,
hear me?
please. Endelea.
And I uploaded my resume.
Mm-hmm.
But the text box for student ID, I wrote and a student number, not the registration number.
Mm-hmm.
So how
Do
can
another submission and send me an email separately so that I know it's a double entry.
Okay, thanks.
I plead that I finish my presentation in the next 3 minutes, and then we can now go to the question and answer session.
Yes, you can proceed.
Kindly allow me, all your questions, as burning as they may be,
yes,
we are
proceed.
getting a few minutes to answer them all. So this is what I wanted to discuss as I leave the floor for today. How does this kind of skills we have learned help us to get internships and also get volunteering opportunities? How does it, why is it important for us to you are all aware that searching for internships can sometimes be overwhelming. How many of you have tried to search for internship, if I may ask, without answering? I suspect for those who are graduating, part of your core curriculum and core graduation requirements is that you at least must go through an internship. The purpose of that internship or volunteerism is to ensure that you have a chance to demonstrate your skills, put into practice what you have learned in class, and also see how you can apply them. By so applying them, you will be able to ask some questions and you can we are likely to have as many of you getting into these opportunities, and we are able to utilize them to build our career path. Again, being self-aware and knowing your skills will be very important searching for your jobs. My colleague called Jane or Lucy will be coming in to talk about work readiness skills and the world of work, and of course the job searching, the different sites where jobs are being sought for, and what you require and how you can go online and all that. That stuff is coming your way. As it comes your way, be aware that your self-awareness is important to acquire the skill sets that you need to enable you search for jobs, and also put your CV in a manner that it can be cited and be positioned as a good CV to be, because they say the first chance for you to get a job is through your CV. The CV is the door to your success. So if your CV is not properly done, then your chances of success are also minimized. If you are an introvert, you may prefer internships where you work independently, or if you are in a cubicle. But in this world of work today, where there is COVID, there is shrinking, you may not have these opportunities. So understanding yourself as either being an introvert or an extrovert will help you appreciate and regulate yourself, so that as you search for jobs, you can narrow down your search to internship that you think are going to place you into a possible employment opportunity. And of course, in a team environment where your programs as an intern, your application of your skills can be of help to eventually connect you to the job market. I've put across, or rather I've documented a number of resources that I want you to refer to. For those who want to go a step higher or a notch higher, look for this book called The Hidden Driver of Success and Satisfaction by Travis Bradbury. Here you will be guided on self-awareness, and you'll have a lot of information and a lot of insights scientifically, and also how it has applied in sub-Saharan Africa. The second one is the How Conscious Creates the Material World by Hamid Gosam with other 3 writers, including Maggie Goshwam. It's a good one in self-awareness, but there is another one in emotional intelligence called Why It Can Matter More Than IQ by Daniel Goleman. Finally, I've also given you a link which you only need to click, and you can see awareness as really and as how it is and how you can cultivate it. For those who want quick reading, you can go to number 4 because it's really broken down, it's really summarized. It summarizes all that we have discussed in self-awareness. So in terms of what we needed to cover today, that's all we needed to cover. Before I trigger the question and answer session, I think I need to notify you that next week, we really hope that all of you will attend, because we are taking these sessions to the next level. Our self-awareness next week is moving to, in other words, we are bringing a seasoned lecturer from one of the universities, and also a psychologist for the last 20 years. And we really want to benefit from this guru to ensure that our mental wellness is taken care of, and our mental wellness questions and answers are addressed. Psychosocial support is really not a mental illness. It's not it's not a condemned case. Sometimes even managing growth is a problem. Even managing a new salary is a problem. Managing a new job or really fitting into a new job is a challenge. Sometimes even success is difficult to manage. So we want to bring this kind of equilibrium into your life so that all of you can appreciate this from a psychosocial support point of view. So this medical expert from the School of Psychology is going to help us conclude our self-awareness and also address some of the challenges that we will expect and how we will psychologically address them to be resilient and of course to be whole by the time we graduate. So we hope that all of you actually create time, because we may not have much time for this kind of lecturer. As he comes on board, please take time to listen and ask questions. And if you need more, if you have a psychosocial support need, you are mentally disturbed, you are stressed, you are having anxiety, you are having sleepless nights, you are having an addiction problem to work with, this is the guy to talk to. So I urge that as many of you as possible can actually ask your questions and you can bounce them back to him. By so doing, then we are likely to succeed and move as a team. So I'm only preparing you psychologically for the big thing that is coming ahead of you. So can we all purpose to attend? By show of hands, how many hope want to benefit from this, just to assess how many of you are interested in this?
The question should be, who wants to be marked absent?
Who wants to be marked absent? Actually, that is the question. I love that philosophy. I see all hands are up. This is a good sign. Huh? please ensure that you come in early. We have very little time, but let us maximize on that opportunity to actually address that bit of self-awareness. Thank you so much. Now I allow people to ask a few questions, so then we can close the session.
Joseph, please forward the invite for today's class to Ivan Jogona. He says he never received today's invite. But keep checking your junk and spam folder, people. As long as you signed up, you receive emails.
So before I jump out, is there a burning question I need to address?
Mr. George.
Stephen Marsha, you are the class rep. Remember, from today, don't forget.
Hello.
Okay, I'm just asking. This just been talking.
Thank you so much. And then, on addition to that, how do I get your number, Jen?
Sorry? Kuna mtu wako disco. Yes. Hello.
Hello. I was saying I got you, George, very clearly that I'll take charge. Then Jen, how do I get your number?
You will receive it from Joseph.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
George.
there's a lady who is speaking. Please allow the lady to speak. She's been struggling to amplify her voice.
Could you kindly put your hands down for confirming your next class so that we can see the questions? Put your hands down, please, all of you. Thank you. Put your hands down.
So I will go calling out the names that I see here. John Motua, you have a question? John Motua. No. Nicole Rose, you have a question?
No, I don't have a question.
Evelyn Akelo.
Yes.
Do you have a question?
Not really.
Joseph, put all the hands down for me. Josephine Ochieng, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Please ask.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk, but I have people are talking in the background. So I'm asking, do you prefer?
Could you be a bit louder, please, Josephine?
Okay, I'm just trying to ask, do you prefer to be called Jane or George, or do you have some professional name like doctor, professor, something like that?
Ati, haki nimepotea.
Do you get me?
Now we hear you say.
Okay, I'm just trying to ask, do you prefer just being called Jane and George, or that putting like Miss or Mrs. or Professor?
No, George, Jane, Joseph, we are all fine. This is our program, people. So we are all, there are no levels, nothing. It's just respect and us supporting each other.
Okay, fine.
I look forward to my Tuesdays and Thursdays because it makes me miss being in school. Yeah, so don't worry. When there's a doctor, we will let you know, like those that like the titles, but I doubt for this program anybody. We are really trying to make you feel free to the world of work, where you don't have to feel the bossy thing. Actually, someone is my boss and you have to be timid and all those things. You go out there and conquer and outshine the bosses, actually. I don't think we have another question.
Franklin Muaro.
Yes,
We
I
only
have
have 3 and then we close. Franklin, Angela to follow, then Felix, then we close.
Okay, yeah, I'm Franklin from Multimedia University.
Yes.
I got a question. Do we send this CV as a scan of the hard copy of the CV that we have, or do we send it as a document of Word?
It's preferred that you send a soft copy, not a scanned copy, because we said it's a living document. So it's something it's something if somebody asks me for an intern, in something I can forward and can be edited. So please share formats that are easy to edit and update.
My name is Angela from USIU. I wanted to ask about the speaker. Will the speaker do both days, or we have to select it? We have to come on a particular day?
For the next week?
Yeah.
Judge. Both days. We want to remain like he will be available for both Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I see someone with a student number like mine. Any other question? George, was there anyone else?
Felix was
Hello.
the last person.
Hello, George. Mine is not a question, but actually an addition on what you've spoken about today. Most of us growing up, we actually watched these karate movies, and there's usually this circle of with a wave in the middle of black and white, the yin and yang, in which when there is order, there's potential for chaos, and where there's chaos, there's potential for order. In self-awareness, actually some Sun Tzu, it's a book of, it's called The Art of War, actually put it clear, where he actually says that when you match your enemy in strength, you fight. When your enemy is stronger, evade. And when you're not ready, you run. Thank you.
Thank you for that philosophical risk management. I don't know whether we
And reflections.
Yes,
Very
and
good.
reflections. You are a sharper than you are now.
His name is Felix.
Felix Okari M.
Kagoda, you better give a star there. Attendance for today.
Good.
Pardon?
You give Felix Okari in his registration a star. I will revisit.
Okay.
All right. So I think we've really stretched our time, and I'm glad all of you remain tuned and up to now. It's my hope that we prepare for the next lesson, and also you wait for the questionnaire tomorrow. Work on it over the weekend. Let us have it on Monday by midday, and let us all gear ourselves up for the next level of self-awareness, which is psychosocial support and mental wellness. I love you all, and I hope that you enjoyed the sessions, and we'll continue doing the same until we are done. Thank you so much, and be blessed from my desk.
Thank you, George.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.